Coming up in 2020, there could potentially be a change to the way state school board members are selected. Eric Reynolds is taking a look at that in this week's Perspectives right here on Fox 10. Eric, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So this is something a lot of people will have their eyes on as education and across our state affects everyone who lives in the state. So what exactly is going on here?
You know, this is really interesting because some of the players, you'll be surprised who's for, who's against.
Gotcha.
In fact, we've got a Republican state representative on the school board representing the District 1, which is South Alabama. She's created a campaign to go against that amendment proposed by the governor and the state Senate pro tem, president of the state Senate.
Republican governor.
All Republicans, and
Gotcha.
so is the pro tem. He's also a Republican who introduced the amendment for the governor. And so you've got those two opposing sides. Then the state GOP, the party itself, is against the amendment.
Interesting.
And then, go ahead.
So something the governor at the top is in favor of, but it sounds like the majority of the other Republican in the state is kind of against it.
That seems to be the issue. It seems to be one about the opportunity to vote for who you send to Montgomery. And when you ask people in the streets, which we did as well, we've got some man on the street kind of responses, and everybody wanted to be able to vote for that position. Now, the governor's position is a good one because we're one of a few states that still elect the state school board. And Alabama is concerned about the performance of education in the state. So that's the reason the governor is behind this. But there are some people who say, don't take away my right to vote.
So just to make this absolutely clear for the viewers at home, the governor's proposal is to make that position appointed by the governor.
By the governor's office.
Whereas the other thoughts on it is that it should still be something that is voted on.
Exactly. People still want the right to vote for that state school board member. But the governor believes that to make education more successful in the state of Alabama, really the governor needs to put people together who are working in the same mindset that she is, because she is the president of the state school board. So a lot of this stuff, you know, is a very interesting, the bedfellows are very interesting in this matter.
So you mentioned that you talked to some people on the street to get their opinions. Who else are you talking to during this episode of
We're also talking to the chairman of the state GOP party. We talked to the Senate pro tem president who proposed the amendment for the governor. And then we also talked to Jackie Ziegler's potential opponent in November if there is an election, because the amendment's in March, and so that could wipe out that elected position. So we hear from them, and of course from the men on the street and women on the street who have an opinion about whether they have the right to vote or not.
Well, if you haven't had a chance to tune into Perspectives so far, which we hope you have, this is what's great about the show, is you have the time to dedicate to go out and talking to all these different ideas and get many different viewpoints.
And that one's one where we really needed to get some different sides. And at the same time, there's not a lot of conversation about this yet, but they're believing that once the holiday is over, this will all gear up to where you'll have more debate about whether the governor should be appointing or you, the voter, should have the decision in that matter.
All right, sounds good. If you want to learn more, which we hope you do, because this is an important topic of conversation that affects everybody, when can they tune into Perspectives?
Saturday morning at 9 a.m. right after the Fox 10 Saturday Morning News with Asha and Matt Barentine. We'll be there kicking this thing off.
All right, sounds good. Eric, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Joe.